Hello there, thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today, and boy do I have a fun pop music concert poster from 1963. Look at this, Show of Stars from Honolulu, Hawaii, and with several top 10 hitmakers on there in what is often called the girl group era, or the pre-Beatles era, of course, who would come in and wipe out all kinds of chart positions starting in early '64. But this is from November of 1963, and as a matter of fact, these shows happened in the week following JFK's assassination. So people were really willing, ready, I should say, to start having a good time again after a week of mourning. So you've got really a nice condition poster here. It wasn't used. It's a 14 by 20 inch mint condition boxing style concert poster. It's really nice. Normally these things are 14 by 22, as you've seen if you've watched my blogs, but for some reason this one's 14 by 20. And it's very much the typical look of Tom Moffat, who was the promoter and the MC for the concert, and he did Honolulu shows, all the important pop music stuff in the 50s and 60s. I kind of like this little design flair there, right? See that going down sort of right in the middle of the poster? You've got those, those geometric shapes there in different colors. Those are kind of fun. Just, a nice little design touch, which breaks up all the printing, which is getting, of course, the information across. And red and yellow seems to have been a real favorite color of Moffat. Of course, it's a hidden persuader, as many of us learned in high school, with red and yellow being the color that most attracts the human eye. So you've got 4 musicians on this poster. 3 of them were pretty big hit makers with number 1 or number 2 records, and the 4th one didn't break the top 10 but had a nice TV and film career, so kind of mixed entertainment here in this Moffat show, whatever would bring in the teenagers, of course. Now, most unusually on the poster, I would definitely single out the Crystals there, as you can see them. There was great timing for their career. They had just experienced their 6th consecutive top 20 hit, and they were best known then and to this day for their number 1 record, He's a Rebel, which had been charting the tops the year before in '62. But here in '63, they had a couple of really nice hits earlier in the year. In the spring they had To Do Ron Ron, in the summer they had Then He Kissed Me. And then, unfortunately, they kissed off their career from that point onward. The British invasion would come in and sort of really dull the girl group scene and wipe out chart action for a lot of artists from the early '60s, with the Crystals included. But the Crystals, they're pretty important. I mean, they're sort of a defining act of the important girl group era, and they were very important to producer Phil Spector, who started off his Phillies record label with their single. Phillies single number 100, I think it was There's No Other Like My Baby, and it was the first Phillies single by Spector and his first top 20 hit, because it did go to number 20 2 years before their show. And then, of course, you get into the shenanigans of Spector using Darlene Love in the studio when the girls weren't accessible, or because he thought she was better or whatever. And, Darlene sort of led the studio version of the Crystals, and these 4 gals were the touring version, but unfortunately none of the faces are familiar. Nobody went on to bigger things, and so they sort of toiled in relative, I guess, anonymity. And next to them, you've got the Surfaris there, obviously a legendary surf instrumental group, and Wipeout was a number 2 record this very summer, 1963, so great to have them on this poster. You want a '63 poster for the Surfaris if you're going to have one. And then you've got Bobby Vinton, of course, right above them, very familiar face to the fans of pop music, and he has top billing on the poster, probably on the strength of 3 smash hits, 2 of them number 1s, and that would be, of course, Roses Are Red, My Love, which was a number 1, Blue on Blue, and Blue Velvet was also number 1. Those all came before this show, in the year or 2 leading up to it. But, why stop there? His brand new single at the time of the show also went to number 1, and that was There, I've Said It Again. And then you've got Eddie Hodges over there. That was a little bit of a puzzler. I mean, he's a child actor who also did a little bit of recording, and he's only 16 years old here, and he sort of looks it, doesn't it? It's kind of funny. But, at age 12, he had won a Grammy for his contribution to the Music Man original soundtrack. I believe he sang Gary, Indiana. So a Grammy winner at 12 ain't bad. And then at age 14, he had only a number 12 pop music hit with I'm Gonna Knock Down Your Door. But if you move over to the screen action for Eddie Hodges, it justifies him being on the poster and placed high, because he had guest spots on shows like Bonanza, Gunsmoke, Dick Van Dyke Show. And on film, in the big screen, he sang High Hopes with Frank Sinatra. So that's some pretty good cred for sure, especially with the teens, although Sinatra wasn't a teen element. And then on the black box, of course, you have the information. Above that, it does say Civic Auditorium, right there in Honolulu. And boy, I'll tell you, look at the dates are a little unusual. The stars got to enjoy Hawaii for a couple of days, had some downtime for Waikiki Beach and stuff, because you have Tuesday and then it jumps to Friday evening and then 3 shows on Saturday. And it's kind of funny, notice those Saturday 3 show times. Gee, between the 2 evening shows there was only 1 hour and 45 minutes. I mean, heck, if you have to allow, if you allow time for the hall to empty and then to fill up again, that just seems to allow at the most 1 hour for the show. But, I guess that's the way these sort of traveling caravan tour packages were back then. Heck, even the Beatles over in England in '63 with just doing 20 to 30 minute shows. And so perhaps each artist only had 15 minutes or so, but, they concentrated on their hits and then sort of moved off. And also people couldn't complain about not getting their money's worth. Notice the prices at the bottom, $1.25 to $2.20. Pretty darn cheap for an hour of top 10 hit making and some TV and film cred too. So there you have it. Call it a Crystals concert poster if you want to, or just call it a fun Hawaiian Show of Stars poster in the girl group era. Either way, it's a fun collectible. It's a really nice piece, and so I wanted to take the time to show you today. Hope you enjoyed it. Take care, and we'll see you next time for something else. Bye-bye.